Continuing on here, going back to the way of abiding, and now starting in the commentary on page 67, we have the introduction. And here he goes through and explains the homage to Samittabhadra, talks a little bit about basic space and the idea of definitive meaning, and says that the definitive meaning, sublime fruition, is the supreme secret that in one's direct experience reveals awareness, awakened mind, dharmakaya, suchness that is without transition or change, which is not something to be confirmed or refuted, to be beyond cause and effect, effort and achievement. So he's looking at the basic principle of what we're talking about here. When we talk about the ultimate, it's difficult because it's ineffable. And that's part of what is being described here in this particular case. On the top of page 69, in the passage from the Tantra of the Supreme and Naturally Arising Awareness, the great profession speaks its own language and relies on its own ultimate meaning. In the scope of great perfection, there are neither Buddhas nor ordinary beings. In great perfection, the ground of being is neither good nor bad. In great perfection, the spiritual path is neither long nor short. In great perfection, fruition is neither attainment nor non-attainment. In great perfection, enlightened form is neither is nor is not. In great perfection, enlightened speech is neither changeable nor unchanging. In great perfection, enlightened mind has no substance or characteristics, and so forth. So the basic idea here is very similar to the Heart Sutra. It's not this, it's not that. So it transcends these concepts and labels that we tend to attach as we do these things. And that's the idea. So we're talking about the ultimate nature of things in that way. At the very end of it, he says, great perfection does not abide in any specific way. Okay? So that's the key point as a part of that. Then at the very last line on that page, the fruition is shown to be the natural place of rest that is fundamentally unconditioned. No goal exists, only a certain distinction that is made on the basis of gaining stability in the primary ground of being, and so all phenomena are shown to be perfect within awareness, awakened mind. And then he cites another passage here from the all-creating monarch, down toward the bottom, about 5 lines or so up. Although those who dwell in this state in which nothing need be done may physically be ordinary individuals, such as gods and humans, their intent is in accord with the nature of phenomena. They are Buddhas. In ensuring the welfare of beings, they make no effort, and there is nothing to achieve. Rather, they abide blissfully. So just abiding, the Buddhas make things happen. Okay? It's not like they do this or they do that. We've got the 5 Buddha activities, but those are the Sambhogakaya forms. Okay? At the ultimate level, in the Dharmakaya, there's nothing to do, but it happens anyway. Okay? And then he talks a little bit about his commitment. It's traditional within the first few verses to talk a little bit about your commitment to write whatever it is. And he says, I'm on the top of page 71 here, that it is just, that is to say, the expanse that is the nature of phenomena beyond imagination and expression is that of awareness, awakened mind, great perfection, since it has no substance or characteristics. And then at the first line in the next paragraph, it's beyond cause and effect, effort and achievement. And then in the last paragraph, my thought was to benefit those of the very highest acumen who would hereby become free just as I intended. Okay, so he's aiming this at those of high acumen and says that it's inappropriate, as we saw in the root text, particularly at the end, it's inappropriate for everyone. It's just people that are able to grasp these things, that have some good solid background in the tradition in order to be able to grasp what's being referred to here. On page 72, in about the middle of this first paragraph, not the verse at the top, but the full paragraph. Those of the very highest acumen can realize it just as it is. Just get it. Though practical application that is in harmony, through practical application that is in harmony with such realization. So it's not just that you get it, it's that you know then how to apply it as well. And then on page 73, just below the top quote there, the same text speaks of the purpose of such realization. As for revealing the specific and ultimate purpose, countless eons ago, those who had faith in me, all creating enlightenment, those with suitable karma and good fortune, utterly immersed in genuine being, had no view to cultivate in meditation, no samaya to uphold, no enlightened activity involving effort, no paths to traverse, no levels of realization on which to train, no causal framework, no twofold division into ultimate and relative, nothing to cultivate in meditation or achieve, no motivation to be aroused, and no antidotes. So that they might perceive the nature of all creating mind, I revealed it for just this purpose. So that comes from the all-creating monarch. You might recognize some of that, having looked at some of that previously. So that gives us a good introduction. The next chapter then is called the Vajra Premise. And so in this one, again, he's sort of introducing then the root text part of this, getting into that. With the opening here, he talks about the ineffability, openness, spontaneous presence, and oneness. He cites from the Tantra of Heaped Jewels also, spontaneous presence, ineffability, oneness, and openness. These are its mainstays, so he's got them in a little bit different order, but these are still key points. On page 76, he cites from the all-illuminating sphere, down about halfway, since I do not follow the contrived list of rules in the 8 spiritual approaches, there is the term ineffability. Since there is freedom from the samayas of the lower approaches and one's body, speech, and mind are spacious, the term openness is used. Without even the possibility of transgression, the means of upholding the samaya that cannot be observed lies in the oneness of the self-knowing timeless awareness. And so the term oneness is used. In the oneness of self-knowing timeless awareness, there is total observance that involves no deliberate effort, and so the term spontaneous presence is used. So that's a fairly concise explanation of each of these 4 terms as used in this text. He goes on then to cite from the all-creating monarch. Again, a little beyond halfway down on the page here, since there is no substance, this is explained as ineffability, not involving substance. Timeless awareness is unceasing. The term openness refers to this. Everything is one within mind. This demonstrates oneness. Skip a line. And perfection in awakened mind, I explain as being spontaneously present. On the next page, starting on the second line, he says that he's revealing the key point to be suchness itself, ultimate and naturally occurring timeless awareness. It's beyond causality or deliberate effort. These topics correspond relatively to the way of abiding as it is and always has been, immersion in genuine being as the experience of abiding within that context, conduct that involves no fixation, and dharmakaya that is spontaneously present. So again, he's going through each of these 4 with a little bit more elaboration there on a part of that. And then on page 79, below the quotations there, To summarize, this view reveals that appearances and possibilities, whether samsara or nirvana, are none other than natural manifestations as the display, dynamic energy, and adornment of naturally occurring timeless awareness. And finally, on page 80 at the very bottom, the last 2 or 3 lines, I will now explain at length the supportive arguments in 5 chapters concerning ineffability, openness, spontaneous presence, and oneness, and the candidates according being the ones for whom this is appropriate to be taught. So that's the introduction to our text here, the commentary on our text.